Hi there. I'm going to show you a video today about how to make an art project with a record player. Some of you may have one at home. I've got one at home. I listen to records, play music on it. This is a school record player that doesn't have the needle on the end to actually pick up sound. Sometimes it's called a needle, sometimes it's called a stylus cartridge. That would be on the end here, and it would touch the groove in a record and pick up the sound. If you do not have a record player at home but would like a resource to find one, typically Goodwill and other thrift stores have them for very inexpensive. I wouldn't count on great sound quality or function for music from that, but for an art project, it would be just fine. Radio Shack sells them as well. This school record player, as you can see hopefully on the video, when I pull this arm over, it starts to spin. I'm going to take this piece of cardboard that I cut out, just regular cardboard, and I used a pencil to poke that hole in the middle. And the reason you want a hole in the middle is to go over this little knob here where a record would usually sit. Now my piece of cardboard is spinning. Before I show you the art, I wanted to show you a cool picture of an old-fashioned record player. Record players, they're different now than when they were first invented, which happened in 1877. And Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb, is credited with being one of the major players in creating the phonograph machine. His early version of it was mostly good for recording and playing back people saying words. Then, 10 years later, in 1887, a German American named Emil Berliner created an updated version called a gramophone, and that's what an original gramophone looked like. You can see there was a hand crank, and now we have electric ones, so we can plug it in and we don't have to crank it. Enough of the history about record players. Now let's get on to the art project. So I've got my cutout cardboard, poked a hole in the middle. I brought the arm over so that the turntable is spinning. I'm going to show you a few different materials to use for an art project. The first one would be colored pencils. You can gently, you don't want to press too hard or else it can stop the record player spinning, but you can gently put a mark and it'll spin around in a nice spiral shape. You could start in the center and go out. You could start on the outside and go in. I've got these beautiful lines here. I'm going to try this next one shifting from colored pencils to markers, and hopefully that will be a little bit darker. I did try an experiment with crayons, but I found that they did not work very well because you have to press down too hard and the turntable stops spinning. Because to get those beautiful spiral shapes, you'd like it to keep spinning while you are coloring. You can bring it outside, back inside. One other color here, and then I will show you how this looks with markers added into the process. I really like the way the markers are turning out a little bit more than the colored pencil version. This is darker. You might be able to see that. Again, I think that crayons won't work, but colored pencils are okay. Markers seem to be even better. I'm going to try one last little experiment here that I don't know what will happen, but you can find out with me. I'm going to try paint. Hopefully some of you have paint at home. I think this might turn out looking really nice. Oh, yes. As soon as I get a chance to show you, you will see. I'm going to add one second color just to give you something nice to see when I show you. Turquoise blue. Blue is one of my favorite colors. Again, I don't want to press too hard and make the record player stop spinning, if at all possible. But you might want to experiment with different things. See how it turns out if you've got a record player you could do this with. Give you a look at that. Look at that. And that's just 2 colors, and I've only spent a few minutes on it. But you could do both sides. This side is my marker and colored pencil side, and this was my paint side. If you're using paint, you'd want to let one side dry first before you flip to the other side. And of course, you should ask your parents if it's okay to use a record player for this purpose. I would want to be careful if it is a record player that you use regularly to play music. You might even consider removing the stylus cartridge so that it doesn't get damaged in the process. I hope you enjoyed this video. I sure enjoyed making it for you. And if any of you have the opportunity to make a spinning art project on a record player, I would sure love to see pictures of that on the Google Class bulletin board. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.